Hello. It used to be, if you wanted to rob a bank, you needed a plan, a crew, blueprints. Or if you were the more brute force type, you needed guns and a getaway driver like Jason Statham. It was loud. It was messy. There were too many variables. But that's old school. We're deep in the tech revolution now. The street? The street hasn't gone anywhere. It just got wired. There above it is thick with stolen data. It's not just about who's faster with a gun anymore. It's about who has a faster download speed. This new threat is a transnational prison syndicate operating on sports bikes and mopeds, using surgical medical tools and sophisticated malware to turn the city's financial infrastructure into their own personal slot machine. No, this isn't fiction. This is the ATM jackpot glitch. Welcome back to the city sprawl. Glossy promises of the corporate future collide with the cold reality of the street. And the story breaking out of the US Justice Department in 2025 is the ultimate manifestation of that collision. It involves a prison gang, swarms of motorcycle soldiers straight out of Akira, and a piece of code that makes ATMs ring cash like a rapper at a gentleman's club. Lock in. Don't think Sons of Anarchy. It's more like Kaneda's gang from Akira. They're the light cavalry of modern street crime, operating in swarms on fast sports bikes and scooters. They dominate the urban grid through sheer mobility, hitting targets and vanishing into the traffic noise before the police scanners even crackle. For years, they were known for violent physical street crime, but recently, they've leveled up. They realized that in the modern era, the biggest scores aren't taken at gunpoint. They're taken with a cell phone. The operation the feds busted in December wasn't a smash and grab. It was a cyber-physical attack known as jackpotting. And the methodology is almost cinematic. It's a 4-stage execution that merges street smarts with surgical precision. These biker soldiers are given the name Motoladrones. Stage 1, Recon. First, the Motoladrones scout. They aren't hitting random machines. They're looking for specific older models, often Diebold Nixdorf or NCR units. They might scout neighborhoods with these models, or smaller banks and credit unions that often have older ATM hardware. Stage 2, the breach. They don't use explosives. They don't rip the ATM out with a chain and pickup truck. They use this, an industrial or medical endoscope. Think of an endoscope as a high-tech flexible flashlight with a camera on the tip. It is a tool that allows us to see inside places that are essentially impossible for the human eye to reach, like deep inside a car engine or the inner workings of the human body, without having to take anything apart or perform major surgery. They drill a tiny hole in the ATM, or sometimes just snake it up through the receipt slot. They feed the camera inside, looking for the machine's brain, the internal computer. Stage 3, the hookup. Once they locate the internal USB port of the hard drive connector, they physically cut the bank's connection and plug in their own device, usually a cheap laptop or a modified Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is a complete working computer that fits in the palm of your hand and costs about the same as a video game. It can do most things a laptop can do, more or less, at a fraction of the price. Now just think about that. A $50 piece of hardware just hijacked a $50,000 banking machine. The ATM is no longer talking to the bank's network. It's talking to the street. Part 4. The jackpot glitch. Now they deploy the weapon, a strain of malware called Ploutus, or its variant like Ploutus-D. This originated in Latin America years ago, but has been refined into the perfect digital lockpick. Does all this sound familiar? That's right, they're doing it just like John Connor in Terminator 2.
Hard now. Go, baby. Hey, it worked. Easy money.
Ploutus doesn't just steal card numbers. It completely overrides the ATM's logic board. It turns a complex financial transaction interface into a simple admin command menu. Once the malware is active, the operator inputs a command, sometimes via a small external keyboard, or sometimes even via text message to the hooked up device. It's the real-life equivalent of a video game cheat code for infinite money. And then, jackpot. The ATM enters a continuous dispense cycle until its cassettes are completely empty. The Motoladrones scoop the cash, tens of thousands in seconds, jump on their bikes, and dissolve back into the city. Who are these Motoladrones? We aren't talking about traditional patch clubs on Harleys and choppers. We're talking about Tren de Aragua, or TDA.
Pretty much the outline how it's gonna go. I brought the wrong book though. Damn.
Gang members are allegedly from the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua.
And federal officials charging more than 24 alleged members of Tren de Aragua.
2 cops beaten on 42nd Street.
When it goes in, ice cold frozen. The first round draft pick, #1 chosen. Promotion, keep shit moving like a flanker.
34 guns were recovered, including 4 semi-automatic pistols, 2 assault weapons, and a ghost gun.
They've taken MS-13's playbook and taken it to the next level. So narcotics trafficking, weapons trafficking, human trafficking.
No doubt, some of the suspects arrested for the recent kidnapping and torture of a couple at an Aurora apartment complex are gang members.
I'm all about my business, kid. Damn, I mean, need I say more?
TDA is a dangerous transnational gang that is specialized in murder, trafficking, and mayhem.
Roman to the Denver County Sheriff's Office. The brutal robbery caught on video shows several young men pulling guns, even pistol whipping 2 women. So a few days after,
the defendants range in age from 19 to 31 years old. They face multiple charges, including criminal sale of a firearm, criminal possession of a weapon.
Accused. What else? Misunderstood and ridiculed. What else? Acting like I ain't never been to school. Shit, how soon they forget I stood the test of time.
Trafficking guns and drugs, not only throughout New York City, but as far as Texas and Colorado. With
Robberies by scooter-riding suspects, attacks in central...
Back in the sun, rooftop, and the diamond in the hat. Hey, videos with the city in the back, in the sun, rooftop, and the diamond in the hat. I'm back, bitch. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back, bitch. I'm back.
Watch as hundreds of dirt bike and ATV riders dodge through traffic, weaving in.
Don't do it then. Do it then. Move with it. Move with it.
Guns, drugs, different crimes with one common thread. Police say the violence all carried out by TDA, Tren de Aragua.
Police tried to create a barricade at Broad and Washington while bikes regrouped at a Lukoil at Broad and Wharton.
According to the NYPD, Tren de Aragua has a presence all over New York City and other states such as...
Well, they certainly make a lot of noise.
More than 100 guns seized by police just this year from TDA members, including this weapon.
Hey, the proof I get away from you. I can't stand your ass and you know it's true.
Finding and arresting members of the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua has been a top priority for Donald Trump's White House.
Today marked the 2,711th arrest in our country of TDA members, just TDA. Everyone in this room agrees they are one of the most violent criminal organizations in the world.
The FBI now adding the alleged leader, Giovanni Vicente Mosquera Serrano, to its 10 most wanted fugitives list.
Holy smokes, I'm no joke out the bullpen. Bringing nothing but heat, leave you hanging like clothespins. He's a beast when he goes in, ice cold frozen. The first round.
Born in the prisons of Venezuela, they've grown into a borderless, decentralized syndicate. Their biker foot soldiers are often given the name Motoladrones, motorcycle bandits, who operate in swarms on sports bikes and scooters to dominate urban environments. The December 2025 indictment stopped one cell, but the methodology is out there. This story is the perfect encapsulation of our dystopian reality. You have a violent, prison-born underclass using advanced malware to exploit the rigid architecture of the corporate banking system. December 18th, 2025, the Department of Justice dropped the hammer as part of Operation Dark Gold. Nebraska indicted 54 high-ranking members of Tren de Aragua for running this exact scheme. We're talking about a confirmed $40 million stolen from over 1,500 ATM machines using the jackpot glitch. And the names on that list aren't just street thugs. They indicted Jimena Araya Navarro, better known as Rosita. She's a famous Venezuelan actress and entertainer. The feds allege she isn't just a pretty face. She's allegedly a top-tier manager who helped launder the millions stolen from these ATMs, funneling the cash back to the syndicate's leadership. She allegedly used her celebrity status to move funds and even helped the TDA boss, Niño Guerrero, escape prison back in 2012. The Motoladrones were given light sentences and deported. But what about the leaders? The 54 high-ranking members in this indictment aren't looking at deportation. They're looking at 335 years in a federal supermax. Sounds crazy, right? That's because starting in 2025, Tren de Aragua is now designated a foreign terrorist organization. The feds are applying terrorist enhancements to these cases. And the money? The money doesn't stay hidden under a mattress. They're immediately converted into cryptocurrency and washed through decentralized mixers and sent instantly across borders to fund an empire that exists everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It blurs the line between street gang and cyber syndicate. The streets are watching, and it's learning faster than the system could patch the cracks. But you're probably thinking, well, it's an ATM. That's not my problem. That's the bank's problem. But what if I told you there's another hacker motorcycle gang, and you're the target?
An invasion of illegal ATVs and dirt bikes roared through the city this evening, causing highway headaches for other drivers and pedestrians.
To understand this crime, you have to forget the old mafia stereotypes. There were no sworn oaths, no made men. This was a crime organized like Uber. The alleged architect was a man named Victor. He didn't run a gang. He ran a dispatch service. Victor would allegedly blast a message out on WhatsApp. A gig. I have money available. Go get 'em. The workforce? Desperate migrants living in the city's shelter system. They had no digital footprint, no papers, and often no names the police could verify. The pay structure was corporate efficiency. The driver would get $100 a day to pilot the scooter, and the snatcher would get anywhere from $300 to $600 per phone. They struck the wealthy New York corridors, Upper East Side, Soho. They targeted women walking alone, distracted by the glow of their screens. But they weren't just snatching the phones right away. They were stalking you. Modern phone security is biometric, Face ID, fingerprints, passcodes. The snatchers would stalk their targets. They'd wait for that split second when the phone was unlocked, or watch the victim tap in their code. Then boom.
8 phone snatchings in 2 weeks, all by a man with a stolen moped.
Why? Because the hackers would offer a big bonus if they brought back the phone unlocked. Once they had the device, the clock started ticking. Phone security can be a brick wall, but these guys were faster than the cloud. The phones weren't sold on the street. They were trafficked to a stash house in the Bronx. This is where the operation went from petty theft to cybercrime. Waiting in the safe house was the tech guy, a designated specialist hired specifically to breach the digital vaults. With the phone unlocked, the tech guy went to work. Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, crypto wallets, you name it. They didn't just steal your balance, they maxed out your credit cards, took out cash advances in your name, and drained every penny from your digital identity. In minutes, a victim could lose $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 before they could even find a cop to file a report. Their life savings were already laundered through a network of accounts in South America. And the phone itself, a hollow shell. Once drained, the devices were shipped to Colombia to be wiped, reprogrammed, and sold as fresh hardware. The perfect circular economy of theft. In February 2024, the NYPD launches a massive raid. They hit the Bronx stash house at daybreak. They find the tech guy, they find the phones, and they find the evidence of a crime ring that had terrorized the city for months. But what about the ringleader? While the scooters ran the street, Victor Parra sat in the center of the web. He wasn't just a fence, he was the logistics engine. Parra operated like a modern startup CEO. He didn't get his hands dirty, he managed the workflow. He allegedly coordinated the teams via WhatsApp. He set the market rates, hired bounties for unlocked phones, bonuses for banking access. He moved the hardware from the Bronx to buyers in Colombia and beyond. But every digital empire leaves a footprint. In June 2024, the Manhattan DA indicted Parra, charging him with grand larceny and criminal possession of stolen property. In February 2025, Parra pleaded guilty. The sentence? 2 to 6 years in state prison. Sounds like a victory for the system, until you look at what else they found. During the investigation into the phone ring, authorities uncovered a thread that led to something far more dangerous than identity theft. Gun trafficking.
Guns, drugs, different crimes with one common thread.
Stopping at a Lukoil in Northern Liberties to refuel. Then they made their way down Delaware Avenue to where it
More than 100 guns seized by police just this year from TDA members, including this weapon.
According to the NYPD, Tren de Aragua has a presence all over New York City and other states such as...
The investigation revealed links to Tren de Aragua. The profits from your drained account weren't just buying luxury goods. They were potentially funding an illegal firearms trade.
Trump administration border czar was in New York City for the announcement of racketeering charges against 27 alleged members and associates.
This is the true dystopian reality. It starts with a scooter on Fifth Avenue. It ends with the ghost guns and international syndicates. They can make your phone the currency that fuels the war machine.
The defendants range in age from 19 to 31 years old. They face multiple charges, including criminal sale of a firearm, criminal possession of a weapon.
These motorcycle gangs, they weren't sophisticated because they had high-tech malware or hackers on their side. They were sophisticated because they exploited the one vulnerability no firewall can patch: speed. They realized that inside the gap between theft and reporting, there's a window of infinite opportunity. I want you to do me a favor. Hit the like button. And next time you're walking home, remember to look over your shoulder once in a while between selfies. Stay safe and stay salty.